Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster drama going down as the VCT Pacific playoffs come to a conclusion, but especially around the world. LEV Tom with a couple of players they're looking at bringing in. Some big Scrimbux happening last night as well. Certainly the new NRG team, they continue to be in action. Big drama happening as well, certainly on the Pacific groups that have now been drawn, and what Crazy Guy has to say on this whole situation. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to start with. And this is the big one. RRQ. They have actually only got a done it. Like, what a performance from these guys. And honestly, as an organization, I think they deserve so much credit for the changes and the progress that they have made. Because, look, this region, the Pacific, at the start of the year, was kind of getting crowns. Well, welcome to VCT Korea, right? Like, people were thinking, well, it's kind of over for the competition. The Koreans are taking over. DRX, Gen.G, T1, they're just going to win everything. They're going to be the teams qualifying for the international tournaments, and good luck to anybody else. But no, RRQ and PaperX have proven that that is not going to be the case. And yeah, just amazing what these guys have been able to achieve, right? I think that all their staff, their coaching staff, like the couple of changes they've made over the last couple of years have really improved their team. And you know, they lost the first map 13-8. They then won the Ascent 13-11 after such a great attacking half. The Lotus, they then won 13-9, and then again the Icebox, they iced up in a 13-11. So like, Jemkin's been unbelievable. It's actually a very familiar story around the world right now. A Russian player cooking, like we're seeing it in China, we're seeing it in Pacific, right? We're seeing it in Europe on occasion, and even Demon 1 used to be doing it in the Americas, right? But still, what a performance. RRQ are the champions of the VCT Pacific. I think Warbirds, their coach, deserves lots of credit as well for the way that things have gone. And look, let's not forget as well, Crazy Guy is on this team. And look, Crazy Guy was in so much drama in recent times. He stepped into this organization coming off Bleed Esports. Like, Crazy Guy's been around a very long time, but the Bleed Esports drama was pretty wild. His drama, of course, with Ye, and like individually, he's not setting the world on fire here, but he deserves a lot of credit for leading this team to the success that they have had. Because yeah, the changes they've made, Monyet seeing success as well is really cool to see after, of course, the couple of years that he has had. And yeah, RIQ tweeting out, look, felt like a dream, but here they are with the trophy. So look, this is only step one. Now they've got to try and replicate this internationally. That Crazy Guy was kind of subtweeting Yay, maybe, I don't know. This guy saying that instead of splashing money on the superstars, how about we built a core team that actually understands each other and enjoys playing with each other? And Crazy Guy's, wait, I think I know this, right? So I think he's probably, you know, he's looking at Bleed, isn't he? And saying, look, well, maybe if we didn't spend the money on Yay, we did the same thing that's currently happening here. But at the end of the day, as much as it would have been fantastic to see Evil Geniuses qualify through the Americas for Toronto, potentially get to see Yay versus Crazy Guy on LAN, that'd be spectacular. That's not going to happen in the end, is it, right? So, yeah, I think Crazy Guy's making a bit of a statement, but honestly, he's well within his rights to, because this performance was nothing short of remarkable. Now, as we said yesterday, the groups were going to get drawn after the performance, and this is what we saw. These are the top-rated players: Jemkin, Mako, Forsaken, Texture Something, then Jing, Ivy, Munchkin, Corona, Devi. So, yeah, impressive stuff. Jemkin being the top-rated player by not like a crazy margin. I think Gen.G impressive to have a few guys on here, but Forsaken, Mako were on fire as always. But these are the groups, and again, they've drawn these controversially based on what's happened during the regular season split rather than at the playoffs. And I don't really like the way that they're doing this. I think they should probably consider changing it next year, because you are again going to get situations here where some teams never even play another team during the course of a season, which is pretty outrageous. I think it should at least be the case that in region, every team will play the other team at least at some point, every other team at some point. But yeah, they've drawn this with Boom number 1 seed, despite of course not having that result in the playoffs. And what it means is that 3 of the top 4 teams are in the same group. And that makes things, I mean, yeah, good luck to the other teams in Group A. It might not be the end of the world. Like, I don't think these groups are horrifically bad in terms of, like, being super unbalanced. But it's just like RRQ, the champions, DRX, who were 4th and just missed out, Gen.G, who were 2nd, of course, just missed out on winning the whole thing. They are in the same group. Then you've got Nongshim, and then good luck to Global Esports and Team Secret, basically, right? So, you know, that's definitely the talking point. Just quickly on Team Secret, I did want to mention this, right? Because if we look at RRQ's recent results, isn't it kind of remarkable how RRQ, they've got better and better, but they beat Talent, beat Zeta, beat T1. They obviously beat Gen.G again when it mattered in the finals, but they lost to Secret, right? It's like, this Team Secret team is so confusing, and they will literally only ever beat the best teams. Like, look at their recent games. They lost to everyone, but then they beat the team that eventually won the whole thing. It's just, yeah, Team Secret things on that one, I suppose. So maybe they can cause some upsets here at Group A. And then Group Omega is honestly pretty well balanced. Boom, Talon, T1, PRX. Kind of, obviously Zeta and DFM are pretty hard done by here, but I actually really like Group Omega. I think that's a really exciting one, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Of course, you want to get through to champs. This is the stage where you've got to make that happen, and let's not forget the teams that got promoted, they need to do well, certainly make it to the playoffs. If Nongshim don't make it to the playoffs of this second stage, they get relegated. That's how it works nowadays. And the same is true for the other promoted teams as well, such as Boom Esports, I imagine. Let's talk Europe and all of the roster drama around the world. BBL, they got the win against FUT Esports, right? So, yeah, Game 1 Haven, full stats aren't available. There was a lobby remake that went on. FUT Esports actually got the job done 14-12, but after that, BBL just took over, right? Really impressive from these guys. I know there's bits of drama about this team because they're not apparently getting paid as much as they deserve. Like, maybe that's a story we can get into more over the coming days, especially in the Turkish region. But, yeah, Yampy and the boys did a great job. Then 13-10 in the ends on the Ascent to get over the line. So, yeah, seeing a lot more attacking wins on Ascent lately, I think is pretty exciting to see as well. Makes that map look a little bit more exciting to witness. But BBL advance, FUT Esports go down. We'll see the bracket in a second. And then also Na'Vi, they are eliminated. This was a pretty well-fought series, but in the end, again, a lot of Ascent being played. Na'Vi won the game 1 13-11, Split then bounced back on the Liquid side, and then the Ascent was 13-8 in the end. So Liquid are the stronger team, they got the job done. Na'Vi bow out, we'll see what's next for them. Tag was giving some credit here, of course, to Angel, but yeah, the team isn't quite the same as what it was over the last couple of years. But the roster drama has been big over the last few days. NRG have been involved big time. We know that FNS has called it a day, Scuba's coming in, Ethan is now in game leading up that roster. We'll see some of their Scrimbux results here in a second. Sentinels are talking about it and saying, look, this is why we did Qubit Academy, to let these guys get their chance. Now, this is on the Leviathan situation, apparently. We know that recently they blew it up. Rossi is gone, and Demon 1, of course, notably, is gone. Now, who are they going to sign instead? That's the big drama. Sato is in the conversation. Now, reports were recently that teams had reached out to M80 to inquire about Sato, and they basically just didn't reply. But, well, and maybe Sato wasn't even aware that there was interest in him because the team did not even inform him. But of course, then everything came out publicly, and Sato probably saw it and was like, hang on a second here, lads. Like, can we maybe have this conversation? Because, like, if it's a matter of tier 2 versus tier 1, there's probably only going to be one answer. Even though I'm sure that the team is very confident that they could win Ascension this year, this is the challenge of being a good Ascension team, is that, your team might get gutted before you actually get the chance. And that could well be good or bad in some respect. So, yeah, Monster potentially to KOI, that could be a development. There's also talk about Natak potentially to KOI as well. So this would be real interesting. The rumoured 5-man team might be Natak, Monster, Filu, Flyer, and Baddie G. That's the roster of what they're potentially forming anyway. And understandably, Soulcast saw this news and was like, hang on a second, right? Like, they're going to get rid of me. I basically don't want to say anything on the matter. So, yeah, we'll see if that goes anywhere, but that's a big rumour what's happening in Europe there. But the big drama really is, who are the conversations around LEV? Who are they going to sign instead? Demon 1 and Rossi gone. Apparently, Okonos and Sato, those are the two most likely to fill the spots. Bao also being in contention as well. That's what Thomas had to say last night. And there's been some interesting developments on this, because I guess we can discuss M80 real quick and what it might mean for them. Because right now their challenger team is doing very well. Caillou, Victor, Sato, Bao, Okonos, of course, Chet came in there as the coach as well. But the idea that LEV are basically saying, yeah, we're just going to gut your whole team. Sato, Bao, Okonos, whatever, we don't care. We're going to sign 2 of them, and we're going to have those to replace our roster. It's difficult, really, for M80, because the money that they put in to this franchise, or to this team, is significant to try and win Ascension. The point is to win Ascension, get the benefit to being in the league, stay in the league for the longer term, maybe get partnered as well if you do a good job, that type of stuff. If you sell your players to LEV, then effectively, look, you're doing right by your players, as it were, by giving them the opportunity to go on and compete in Tier 1. And if you're going to get paid as a buyout, then I guess that's fine. But the issue is, if you're investing loads of money And the money that you invest in tier 2 only gets you a return if you win. Like, it's a very high risk, high reward game. You put the money in. If you don't win Ascension, if you're second in Ascension, as M80 have certainly been before, then all that money is nigh on wasted. Whereas, so like, my point is that selling Sato, Okonos, Bao, whatever to LEV, they're going to need a lot of money to justify selling them, because if you're selling those players and then your chances of winning Ascension go down considerably, which they would in this circumstance, you're going to need a lot of money to compensate for that potential loss. That's my read on it anyway. But obviously, again, you don't necessarily want to hold the players hostage against their will, certainly not down there in tier 2. So it is a big debate right now. M80 maybe, just closing their eyes and pretending that it's not happening so they can keep the same roster. But it is interesting here because we see this tweet, we'll see it in a second here, but LEV were trialing and they're up 5-1 against a certain team, and Okonos liked this tweet. So, yeah, what do we think, right? Does that mean anything? Because at the end of the day, whatever M80 say, if Okonos wants to go and trial with the other team, they're not necessarily going to be able to stop him, right? So these are some of the Scrimbux to kind of paint that picture. 100T were down 9-4 to TSM. Pretty interesting because later on in the day, NRG was slamming TSM, their new team. We did see that FNS was very complimentary about this new NRG. He thinks they're going to be really strong, and, well, time will tell, but they're bringing in Scuba, certainly a talent. It was then actually 13-6 shortly afterwards. Marta, Ethan, we can see Scuba on the scoreboard as well. These were the screenshots, though, that I was mentioning. LEV were having some trials. We see Tex, we see King, we see Com up 18-3, and then they're up, well, as we saw, they were up 5-1 earlier, and Okonos liked that tweet. Pretty interesting. 100T are up 7-1 against some team or another. SR Gold were having a pretty difficult time. This was the 17-1 that I thought I'd throw on the thumbnail, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.